Hey, it's Power Rankings season. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 169 of Tactical Crouch. Kickedtripod here with Yiska and Volamel. And if we got a show for you. Before we get started, big thank you to everybody hanging out live in our Twitch chat. If you like the show and you want to hang out with us live every Wednesday at noon Pacific, join us on Twitch at twitch.tv/Kickedtripod. And of course, a special thank you to our patron producers, Refined Bean, Ferdino, Battlecrab, Lolshin, Rex Zane, Sir Girthalot, Porkchop Sammy, Kasha67, Shar, Nathan, Your Misery, Fabled Steven, Roger B, Chris R34444, Bronzebot, Boohow, and Hotel Bravo 11. Thanks so much. If you like the show and want to support it, you can do it in 3 ways. Subscribe right here at twitch.tv/Kickedtripod. It's free with Twitch Prime, so do it if you're not sending it anywhere else. Second, patreon.com/tacticalcrouch. We've got cool anime nights and game nights coming up. And third, you can just leave a tip right down below in the panels. Leave a tip, go right through PayPal. I think it takes like a credit card now too and stuff. Like it's all through Streamlabs, so they make it all work. But whoo! By the way, never mind. Not by the way. Never mind. We'll talk about that in a second. Hey guys.
Hello.
Hey.
Did pretty good on the timing on that intro, actually. I feel pretty good about that. That was...
I think that's a personal best.
Cramming it all in there because we've got power rankings today. Going through the East region. And, man, this was tough for me.
It's the harder one for sure.
Eric, dude. I feel so bad for Eric, who's populating the spreadsheet that we're going to be using for the show. And this morning I changed it on him like 4 or 5 times.
You're like, no, this one. No, this one.
And if you joined me for my stream last night, my power ranking community stream last night,
it
ended up looking nothing like what we put together. It was nothing.
What if we just took all the work we did last night and we threw it out the window? We just started over.
You know, having the conversation about it, though, helped me get to where it is now.
Exactly. That's the fun of it.
So, anyways, we do have a couple things to talk about before we get into our power rankings really quick. So we got some new talent roster announcements, some new casters. So Doa is back, going to be casting alongside ZP. We've got Vicky Kitty coming, and they'll be replacing Wolf with Jaws, right? No. Never mind. They weren't. Who's with Jaws last?
I think it was Hex. Was it Hex and Jaws?
Hex. So yes. It's going to be Vicky Kitty and Jaws, Achilleos and Avril making it. It was the TCP push. It was the TCP push is what I said. It definitely wasn't all of his hard work and dedication to the scene, his consistent improvements and professionalism. It was literally because we talked about it on the podcast.
Sure. I'm not sure. When was you on the podcast? Do you guys have a date?
A few episodes ago.
A couple months ago, right?
Couple months?
I don't know if it's a couple months. Let's see. I'll look. Continue though.
Time during the pandemic, right? Like this is just all the same. It's like one bad day.
What is that? What is time?
Let's see.
And then Willow coming back as an observer for 2021 Overwatch League, which is going to be amazing as well. So some new faces, some returning faces to the Overwatch League broadcast this year. It's going to be a lot of fun to see. It's always amazing to me when people make such a fuss about people coming in or leaving. Like it is possible for you to be excited for new people coming in without bashing the people leaving, or the other way around, not being excited about the new people coming in, and then or being sad about the people leaving and then bashing the new people coming in. You can just be happy for the new people, sad that you're going to be missing out on the people that you liked and who built Overwatch League to this point, and it's just, emotions are complicated, but they're manageable, and it's okay to be like, I like Avril and I like Wolf, and it's sad that we don't get both of them this year, but I'm still happy that Avril's here. Like, see how hard that was, chat? The mental gymnastics, I swear to God.
No, everything is binary. Only get one or the other.
Yep. Anyways, Doa and ZP, though, definitely win for caster announcement for me, I think.
Something to do with pepperonis and Pikachus. I kind of glanced over the video and was like, "Yay, Doa's back."
Pokemon thing, and yeah, it was...
That was well done.
It's always weird for me to see ZP in a non-serious situation. It usually ends up being delightful. Actually, you know what? Bren Monkey. Yeah, you're right, Eric. Eric's right. Bren Monkey was a really
no scientist.
No scientist. Anyways, next year Yiska and Joe will have Overwatch League desk announcements. There it is.
Yeah, right. Don't know about that.
Anyways,
don't know about that, boy.
we also do have a last minute addition to the Philadelphia Fusion.
Yes.
With HotBa. So I don't know if you were factoring that in at all. So previously it was just Poco in the off-take position, Fury obviously gone, and now HotBa is going to be coming into the mix there to help bolster that tank line of Mono, Poco, and now HotBa.
Good stuff. I'm sure having somebody on less than 250 ping is probably beneficial. Is he as good as Poco? To be debated, but as of right now, I think it's a band-aid fix, and at least in the future, maybe a depth announcement. I'm reaching, but
dude, for a while, like the Overwatch League was hotboxing crystals about him. Like it was really bad in terms of like how overrated he was.
Like he wasn't bad, but it wasn't like the second coming of Pine. You know what I mean? Like he hit a few bombs. I get it, but not amazing. Serviceable, above average, I'd say, but not Krong, not Void, not Choi. You know, not an all-star flex tank by any means. A good band-aid fit for this team who seemingly needs it at the start of the season, and maybe fills it out towards the end if we get a double flex tank meta. It could work.
I think he's good. I think you guys are too pessimistic on him. I don't think that he's as good. I don't think he's an all-star. Sure. I agree. I think that you'd be stretching to call him a role star, but at the same time, I think that there are definitely worlds and metas if that he plays that he could be in that conversation. So I don't know.
Possibly.
Yeah, I don't know. I like HotBa.
It'll help them. I think the big talking point from this is that it's an immediate pivot. Well, pivot feels a little too strong, but it's a fix for right now, because obviously the Philly Fusion have come out and said that they're going through visa issues, and if you're dabbling in the juice mill, maybe you can put two and two together on where some of these rumors collide.
I will have something to say about that, and it ain't pretty, boy. It really ain't pretty, boy. Yeah. I'll say something towards that effect later. But yeah. Okay.
Fair enough.
All
but
right.
hop out of Philly. Good enough. Good for right now.
You guys want to talk about power rankings? Should we just dive right in?
Should we dive into what are we going? Bottom up or top down?
Bottom. Worst to best.
Valiant's up. Okay, very good.
So it's kind of weird. So I tried my best to kind of aggregate based on the average, but we're actually going to talk about one team at a time and see the rankings in the spreadsheet versus seeing everybody at 8th, everybody at 7th, everybody at 6th. So trying something a little bit different this year, and we'll see.
Can we also really quickly just point it out, because it grinds my gears how we gotta go with the flow of the scene of just like butchering language, but typically speaking, a power ranking is how good are the teams right now. This is not what this is. No. This is a where will teams end at the end of the season?
The
regular season
power ranking.
Right?
Yes.
And that is very important to mention here, because I can tell you my actual power rankings, as in if we were to play a best of 1,000 round robin right now, they would look very different than, like, there's a lot of infrastructural goodwill that I've put into teams situation. As for instance, if you might do towards the Philadelphia Fusion, this is a reasonable example where you can expect that those visas to work at some point. Yep. So you might evaluate them differently now than at the end of the season, for instance, or at the end of the season rankings. Exactly. So that's basically the distinction that we have to make here.
Also, kudos, Yiska. You made it 9 minutes before you qualified something that we're not even going to be talking about. So, good job.
Fair enough.
There you go. I think that's on the bingo card. Everyone take a shot.
Take a drink. All right, very good. Okay. And don't hatch.
And what are you drinking, Yiska?
That might or might not be rum coke.
You know, I felt like needed this. I felt like I needed the same for this episode. So
nice.
You know, responsible.
Are you preparing, or are you already done with your first? And those are like the remains.
So for me, I need like the 20-minute lead up, so I start the show strong.
Mm-hmm.
So I make a nice really light one to start,
just to get rolling, and then when the show goes, so do I. And then that kind of feel.
Yiska gets on a rat, that's a good time for a refill.
On the hatch.
All right, let's go. We're going to talk about our 8th team. And this is pretty much universal, I think. But if we go ahead and show everybody. Actually, we should probably explain this. Now that there's something on the board, if you're listening to this in audio, you aren't seeing the spreadsheet, and I'll do my best to try to explain the positions of everybody for you. Otherwise, you can see on the screen that you are able to see we have 5 different columns. Of course, individual columns for myself, Yiska, and Joe. But we also have aggregated the Plat Chat rankings and the Tactical Crouch Discord server. And so if you want to have your power rankings included for next week's West power rankings, if you go into the Discord, there's an announcement in the announcement channel to fill out a form. Thanks to Fish Ghost for setting that up. And you can put it right there. But on the screen, you will see our power rankings, as well as every team that we're talking about. There is some kind of good information on the left-hand side, including last year's records and where they finished, their head coach, who left, who's been added, or who's there, their 2021 schedule, that kind of stuff. So a really cool point on this one is our tripled up point 2, which is teams that a team might play 3 times. So in talking to number 8, to nobody's surprise, is the LA Valiant. Plat Chat, Tactical Crouch, and each of the hosts individually put them at 8th. That tripled up score means that they play Chengdu and NYXL 3 times over the course of the season. So those are their tripled up teams to play against. But let's talk about the LA Valiant, and we can go from there. Go ahead.
Well, where to start? Where
to end?
Yeah, I mean, we end here. This is where it ends. I hate that this is. I know that this will get clipped out of context and like will be like a comedic break for people when they actually like win a couple games in the first couple weeks. just because of, the things that are going on.
Sure.
With Philly and whatever else is happening. But I severely doubt that this team will progress into the season and be successful. Will they take a game here or there if the hero pool aligns? Maybe somebody, doesn't show up on the week. Visas, again, can be, I don't know, crazy. And I know next to nothing when it comes to that kind of area. So it's always a gamble in my neck of the woods. So maybe they can sneak in like a surprising win, but I do not see this team being successful long term across the season.
Yeah, very much same. I know like the comment of Valiant not being the worst team in Asia made the rounds also onto Chinese forums. Rest assured, by the time I did made that statement, it couldn't have been Philly. Just because the team was still scrimming at home, right? It's like,
right.
I won't go into the details of the other sides, but I will say that, of course, this was more a temporary thing. Can't quite remember my framing. That said, yes, like without showing too much of my hand here, I think they got a pretty sweet, relatively easy season start.
Sure.
And I think that might misrepresent where they actually are to be placed, even though might as well still lose 4 times, in which case that would just cement it for me.
I don't know. You really think LA Valiant could steal? I mean, maybe against their first 4, right, are Chengdu, Philly, Guangzhou, and Seoul. You really think that they could steal? So I'm guessing the one
they can
the 1 or 2 that steal would be Philly because they're on ping, and maybe Guangzhou.
Thing is, okay, and I'm not sure. Yeah, I can't say anything specifically, but yes, Philly's really bad at the moment. And
is that largely due to ping, or is it just a new team, some compositional type things?
That's the problem. I can't go into that information too much, because it would inevitably bring a little bit too much to the table in that regard. I will say, like, yes, like they're just not performing at the moment, and
interesting.
It's a sad state of affairs because this team, of course, like maybe to a degree, I'm coming around to the idea that I oversold how good this roster would be, because it can't all be down to ping.
Sure.
But if I'm thinking like the Philadelphia Fusion has improved because of their coach signings and whatnot. But yes, a lot of it is down to Philly. And once we get to Philly, and it is also kind of interesting that we talk about the Valiant. We have to talk about Philly. But yes, like currently, if I was doing power rankings, I would put Philly possibly in last place at the moment. End of season rankings, no. And for this team, I mean, I'm not sure if it really needs that much elaboration why it's a problem. That said, people have talked to me and told me that they don't hate the coaches in terms of like what they bring to the table,
sure,
and respect them. That Crystal is a good player. We always knew. There are some good players on here that, like when I asked Kenobi, for instance, last year about like names that I could bring up that would be picked up. Like Molon Run is one I remember. Wire for sure. So it's not like absolutely atrocious. I'm not even sure if they're the worst team in the Overwatch League. I'll keep it 100 with you. We will never find out though.
Toronto Defiant.
No, we won't. But
because Because like the worst teams will never get to play each other. Never.
But conceptually, you have some gigantic holes. You don't have any depth. This roster was assembled late. Conceptually, it should be last.
Yes.
By a long shot.
And it is, and I still wager. Okay, the problem here with my language is I think this team, by all rights, should be Shanghai Dragons atrocious. Season 1, atrocious.
Yeah.
The fact that they aren't is the surprise to me. That's to the extent of my surprise and my hype for whatever this team is. It's also, it will be, these types of teams where they're bad and so bad that it really hurts when you lose to them, but they also have the ability to make you lose. Yeah. That's sort of like the Valiant, right?
Yep. It's very Valiant-esque, even though it is a patchwork team. And to the coach's credit, to Jumpcat's credit, I would say strategically stubborn historically. Kenobi, if he's in the chat, can back this up. The core of this team that they've basically imported has been from T1W, and they have historically been very they've been very regionally similar to a lot of other Chinese teams, very reliant on comfort and don't like to venture too far out of their comfort zone, and that can be very off meta in some instances. So if Jumpcat and crew can find a system or a composition that the Valiant excel at, you might be able to see them kind of Chengdu their way up. Like they might be able to just punch up throughout the season, but it's, again, just conceptually, I don't see this team being successful with how many not errors, but flaws they have. They don't have depth. Their players, especially in some of the most important roles, are either new to the role or just like retired or just not comparable on terms of skill. Like it can't just be Mulan, Ron, and Crystal doing everything. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
I remember Silver 3 being okay on Monkey.
But that's okay in contenders. Now you're putting him on the Overwatch League. And
Contenders
it's like,
Season 2. I mean, don't get me wrong. Chinese Contenders Season 2 is the bar by which I measure all Overwatch League talent.
Sure.
I don't know. Like, it might be... And I'm not defending. We're already talking way too long about the LA Valiant.
Sure, yeah.
Right.
It's like this shouldn't be like we want to find these glimmers of hope. And for me, the most optimistic take that I have, I didn't write any notes except for one, and it says, plenty of spots to sign before the deadline.
Yeah, if they come up with some money and start signing some of these Chinese free agents, this team could significantly increase.
No money
in terms of power.
No money.
Well, there you go.
No money.
So this is actually broke Valiant.
I don't know, but they're like, I mean, the
I don't know, but no money.
The only way this kind of works is like if that team is actually bought out.
Yeah.
Like they're not paying buyouts. They're not.
I get it.
All right.
If somebody just like drops their buyout though and wants to get signed and play in the Overwatch League, I don't know.
Should be ashamed of yourself, IGC.
Yeah. All right. Let's go on to the next team. And this next one is going to be the Hangzhou Spark. Let's go ahead and reveal it on the spreadsheet. Joseph. Anyways, Tactical Crouch and Plat Chat have them as 6th.
No.
I have them in 7th. Yiska has them in 7th. Joe has them in 4th?
I choose to believe this team will be successful long term.
No.
I hear the gripes. I hear the gripes. Call me an idealist. Call me a dreamer. But I look at this team. I look at the talent on this team. Gusha, Liga, Shy, Architect.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah.
That alone has the punching power to compete internationally, not even just in Asia.
Yeah, they should. Yeah,
they should be good. I'm willing to believe that they will be good. I do think that they will falter down. I'm somebody who values flexibility. I'm somebody who values depth. Obviously, yes, historically, Overwatch League teams have not been successful in activating these larger rosters. Do I think all 12 players will play? No, of course not. Do I think their coaches are incredible? No. Do I think that the management's great for this team? No. I think this will be a player, just all-star team that wills themselves across the line.
Hey,
wrong.
Future Yiska. Hey, dumbass. You know Joe is not incorrect here. You still put them down there. So this is the moment where you had at least a little bit of consideration for the moment that this is what basically ruined your power rankings. When inevitably the Spark, by some miracle, make it work based on their talent. But currently are completely shitting the bed in scrims. But
sure.
In comparison. So just hate yourself for this moment. But I'm buying heavy into scrimbucks this year. And I mean, it's not good at the moment.
I get it. And that was the one team, and I think that was a lot of people's takes when the rumors were starting to come out that the Valiant were like beating a team or weren't last. It was like, okay, is it Spark? Like, are they just like actually blundering this before they actually get onto the stage? And it sounds like they are, but I think it would be it begs belief that this would be their level across the entire season. I do not suspect, regardless of, I don't care if you put Redditor Jones in that front office, that these players will allow themselves to be dead last in Asia. I don't see
it's not dead last.
I think it's far more likely that a team falls below them than they climb up.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Which team? Which team do they climb up over?
I mean, we'll get to that.
That's the thing is, like, I feel like the Asia mid-tier, there is no good answers.
No, there's
like legitimately from 7 to probably 3. That's all a wash.
It's a mess. Yeah.
Also,
like I could have, I actually, the scientific method is to flip coins here. In that regard.
Bear in mind that the Hangzhou Spark is tripled up against the Shanghai Dragons this year.
Yes, good call. Good call. Yeah.
So that is their other triple up team is Guangzhou. So it depends on how you feel about Guangzhou, but I definitely, I have a feeling that given the teams, Guangzhou is not higher than Hangzhou on Joe's list, and I'm sure we're gonna find out.
I think one thing to keep in mind when you see pundits and experts break down each region is that just because they're last in this ranking or towards the bottom or high in a ranking doesn't mean that globally or it doesn't mean that the person talking or giving you this analysis like somehow dislikes the team. Like like my power rankings are out. You can look, like I'm very high on Asian teams because I think they will be good because I think they're like stacked with talent.
Stop it. Stop hedging your bets. You absolute coward.
No, it's not a bet hedge. It's more of like just because they're low in these rankings doesn't mean they're low in terms of like the overall power ranking. Does that make sense? Like you can be 8th, like you can be the Valiant and be 20th.
Right.
But like position 7 globally could be actually like 11th, right? Like actually pretty respectable.
Yeah, sure. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Yes.
So it's hard to judge Asia because like Yiska's saying, like 7 to 3 is literally like, I'm not mad at any answer. Like it is literally just criteria differences across the board. It could be very close and it feels like it's very close.
I will tell you, Joe, I'm already a little bit scared. Because now that I know Eric has done the spreadsheet, Eric asked me for a specific asset that is like a meme on the show. I'm really scared where your power rankings are going. We'll go ahead. I'll just want to set this up as a little marker as I explode later on in the episode. We'll see.
Any other thoughts on Hangzhou, or are we ready to go on to the next one?
I think their supports are probably a little slept on. Yeah,
So
I
the
think this
same
team's
thing last
too
year?
good to fail.
The
I
thing is, like,
say the same thing about the Justice when we get to them next week.
Like, I can hardly think of a team that has like as good boomage potential as the Hangzhou Spark.
Sure.
Like that. Let's be honest. Like, even from the outside, I think everyone understands that something is not normal in terms of the management. What's going on there, right? Is everyone not creeped out by how they handled the Crystal situation publicly? Is that just a normal thing to everyone?
I mean, yeah, it
It
is.
was a
That was bizarre.
it was a translated announcement.
For sure. Then there's like, you have two essentially like language separated rosters with
Agreed.
few touching points.
Yeah.
That also somehow have to synergize. This idea of just bashing like top players into a team rarely works, especially if you have don't have a great coach. And I'll also straight up tell you, I don't think Pagion's
correct
record actually like displays his ability as a coach.
Right.
So
I think when you look at the teams that he's coached, I'm willing to question the results and really wonder exactly how much is being done from the front office, or is it more like in server? Again, you look at Fusion University, you look at the Titans. There's a lot of talent there that like anybody can work with, and that's not to discredit him and what he has done, but in terms of evaluating the power of a coach, this will be the test. Like, like, and even then in that way, it doesn't even feel that like dissimilar to the other teams. Like, you have all the talent in the world to work with, so you gotta get the results. Like, you literally have all of the pieces. You have a full chest of toys. You can't screw this up.
Like
it's almost impossible. Sure. Even if you just make a single language roster, I really don't think the Spark is all that bad. If you want to go Chinese, go for it. I don't think that team's bad. You want to go Korean? Fine, do that. I don't think that team's bad. You want to go mixed? I think it could be messy, but that's probably the best bet. Like, that's the highest upside to Yiska's, long-term point that mixed rosters are the way to go. It's hard to do, but if you can actually get it to work, that's when the Spark actually like look like a top 3 team.
If the Spark would have finished higher last year, I think I'd be more on board with where you're placing them this year.
That's fair.
Okay. I'm readying up because, I mean, this wasn't that infuriating to me yet, Joe. I'm still cool.
Really?
Like, I think, like your point makes sense. Again, like, it's a wash there, right? Like, we're all good.
Okay, good.
Ready to go on to the next one then?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go ahead. The next one we're going to talk about is the Guangzhou Charge.
And I like the Charge. I like the Charge.
Where are they going to show up?
They have a lot of players
The
I
script
like.
is running. There it is.
A lot of good workhorses.
Okay.
Okay.
Yiska, I think we copied each other's homework on this one. Okay. So TCP and Platchet have them as 7th. Yiska and I have them as 6th. Joe has them as 7th.
Yep.
All right.
That's not a large disagreement, right? Like, that's in the end, it will be the difference of 1 win or 2. But
this is one of those teams that, like, yes, they're 7th in Asia, but globally, like, they're a mid-table team. Like, this is a pretty like reasonably successful team, like, on paper. Like, I measure this against.
No, so full disclosure here. Can I told you about this before the show. This team started at 2nd in the region for me when I started doing my power rankings. They were 14-7 last season.
Yeah.
This was a team that on paper is deceptively worse than how they actually play.
Yep.
And they added Choi Se-won. They added Mai Kaylee.
Good ads.
Kareev and Mandu, I don't want to have that argument right now. I think that people are underrating it a little bit given what the kind of the meta is looking like as we go into the 2021 season.
You're getting both sleep tots to each nipple if you continue with that.
Anyway, so I started them, and I kind of like, basically when I start doing power rankings, I always start from a place of how did they do last year, and then try to take that into consideration as I consider all the changes that were made.
Sure.
Coaches, this is not a team that got, in my opinion, better than last year. They didn't. This is one of the few teams in Asia that I feel like at the most optimistic went like this. I think that there's some metas in which they actually do improve a little bit, but I think overall they're like this or maybe slightly downtrend. I don't think that puts them as the second to worst team next to the LA Valiant, though. Yeah. When you've got a Hangzhou team that really struggled to, despite having a really good team on paper even last year, really struggled to put together anything more than what that lawnmower was putting together, which is just, a bunch of mulch. So it's just weird. They've got some hero gaps on DPS. I think people are reacting too hard to the NYXL open scrim.
That definitely didn't help.
It did not help. Their tank line is intact. Mike Haley, I will still always remember as seeing the highlight of Carpe accusing Mike Haley of cheating. Mike Haley can be a good player.
Mechanically
definitely
good.
Serviceable. I think an excellent Ashe overall. But hopefully we don't have to see them on Tracer. Choice A1 at least
looks fantastic.
Yeah, nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, it is going to be an improvement. There's obviously conflict and overlap with Eileen on Genji, and that gets kind of awkward. But besides that, I think that overall that has at least been improved. So while you lose some in the supports, I think you gain some there. Like, this should not be. It's still so weird because as I'm talking to myself, I'm like, all right, well, 5th, no, 4th, no, 5th, no, 6th, no.
Yeah. There's no problem for me for them to also end up 3rd. Like, once again, this mid-tier in APAC is super close together, right? In my mind, though, losing Happy and Shu is nuts in what you're losing, right? And yes, you slot in nutty players as well. I will also say Eileen, nuts as well. Krong
constantly
nuts.
Slept on. Very good.
Rio, okay-ish.
It's a
Mandu,
workhorse.
I think, can definitely show what he used to show. Being the best GOATS backline in season 2. Season 2, the equivalent to in Korean contenders. So. I don't hate that they could also be 3rd. I think that's entirely possible.
Really?
That said,
I have, sir.
It's the coaching is a big question mark for me. So naturally people say, okay, Arachne, right? That's a disciple
Student
of Krusty.
Oh, no. All praise.
Oh, no. When you talk to people behind the scenes about this, and admittedly mostly Western people, there's one word that shows up, and it's newbie.
Newbie.
It's like the
team or the concept of being new at something.
Yeah, sort of like that, right? Okay. That's a head coach that is new to the head coach role and is not expected to easily slot into that role.
That makes sense.
Right? It's not like a natural born leader personality. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's a question mark for me. I don't hate that team. I think for whatever investment they had, they really got a pretty sweet roster together.
Good.
And I also don't think they realistically can expect to be fighting for the top positions with whatever they put in.
It's tough.
So
there are selling points to this roster. I think Kareev has had a fantastic preseason. That's not enough for me to change tune. I'm willing to be, surprised if he continues to perform against, top talent in the league as the regular season starts to churn along.
We're too bearish on Kareev on this show. I tell you what.
I think
it's despicable.
He has been good in the preseason. Yep, I need to see that translated against the best flex supports in the league before I can go. Kareev was a lateral move to Shu. I think Shu is a stud. I think
I don't think it was a lateral move.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like before I get to being a lateral move, I need to see this on the server.
But
I
Shu is also very good. You can have somebody worse than Shu and still have a really great backline.
Comparatively to the rest of the field, though, it doesn't. At least for me, it's not ready.
It's hard.
And same thing with Rio as well. I like Rio. Don't get me wrong. I think Rio's had a fantastic career, and I think he's going to continue to be like that role player that Charge kind of has in the front line. It's not enough to shoot them up the rankings for me. I think their DPS is the big selling point. I think Krong's another star.
So Jonak and Friday from Oz Gaming, who hasn't had a win in a year and a half.
I'll take the star of Jonak over compensating Friday.
Yep.
Okay.
I think Jonak is still.
Oh my God, you'll not like my power rankings very much, guys.
I think Jonak is still very good.
Don't get me wrong. I have NYXL up there. I really do. Yeah. But I look at and
awkward.
I don't think that this is.
Dude, I don't know. Still talking about my guy Jonak like he wasn't a top 3 flex support last year. Like
it blows my mind how many people are like, "Wow, Jonak's out is really good." I'm like,
but again, it's not against Jonak. Don't get me wrong. Jonak is great. Top 3 support in Overwatch League easily. Fine. Let's close the door on that. But Friday, we've seen him in a scrim.
Agreed. Hands up.
We've seen him in
agree.
A scrim.
I agree.
How Oz got 2 or 3 people through to the Overwatch League to begin with reeks of $50,000 Yiska bills is what that sounds like. Those Yiska scrim bucks right there that cost $50K and that's it. League minimum size, just whatever it takes. Maybe they paid. I don't know what they did to get there. I don't know how that happened. I'm not saying Friday looked bad in the scrims. It looked fine in the scrims. I'm just saying, for people who come in here and lecture us about the volatility of scrims and then taking an open scrim in which they're not gonna, and they're gonna take the results of that so hard is just baffling to me.
Sure.
Again, didn't help matters that both teams struggled against one another, and it wasn't particularly great Overwatch. Granted, it was pretty early in the preseason, but not something I'm super bullish on, to be completely honest. I'm willing to be proven wrong as the season progresses. Obviously, hero pools is something to be weighed when we measure global rankings, but in terms of Asia, I don't see the Charge being extremely good. I think they will be competitive. I think this is where Asia actually starts is with the Charge, and then up it's very competitive. Like you said, 7-3 should be battling against one another and will change positions throughout the season. But for the main tank, the coach, and a little bit of the support questions, I have them at 7.
Sure.
Yep. It's somebody equating that to Shu and Fleta being on bad contenders team. There's a very big difference between not winning a match in a year and a half and being on a bad contenders team.
Questions. Shu still is extremely underrated, and at the time, people were highly questionable of Fleta, and I still think people are. So it's not
people are highly questionable.
I disagree with it. But at the time,
not after MVP. I was gonna say not now.
Not anymore. I still think people are probably selling him a little short.
I think people were really high on it, and then they came way back down towards the last stage of season 1. Sorry, season 1. If I didn't say it. Season 1, really high on Fleta. End of season 1, dropping down as Seoul dropped down, and then into season 2 and so on. I feel like just Fleta just got forgot.
In a way, yeah. In terms of just the team's performance that he was on, they didn't necessarily do extremely well. I feel like it's been a long time coming for him to actually get his due reward because of a lot of the things that he's had to go through on Flashlux, and I think Shu's still kind of fighting through that. Statistically, Shu is probably one of the is a top 3 flex support historically, and he really doesn't get the love I think he deserves when you bring up all-star flex supports. And I think hopefully the Gladiators can give him a title to be proud of. But we'll get to that.
Okay. All right. That's anything to add on Guangzhou? You didn't talk very much on that one, Yiska.
No, like again, like I think they're not a budget team. Let's be really clear, right? But they're a team that, I mean, in the context of APAC, didn't overspend or anything. So, like once again, I'm happy to be proven that they can also be third in the league. I think that's entirely reasonable.
Fair. Okay.
Uh-oh.
We're going to NYXL next.
Uh-oh.
Whoo, here we go.
Where we got him? Let me see.
Yiska! Holy cow.
Jesus.
So Yiska's got them up. All right, let's go. Tactical Crouch has them at 4. Plat Chat has them at 5. I have them at 4. Joe has them at 6. Yiska has them at 2.
Yiska, you gotta sell me. You gotta.
I bought all the Scrimbucks, dude. That's what I did. I bought all the Scrimbucks.
Do you want to send a future note to yourself just in case you're wrong? You want another, moment to go,
Don't
you know what?
Scrimbucks, boy. Should know better. Should know better.
It is going to be fun to see. I think by the end of Melee, I think you'll be riding high. And then by playoffs, you're going to be like, what was I thinking?
Interesting. I don't think so.
Well, we'll have to see. We will have to see. It should be interesting. Yeah,
like,
what do you like about NYXL?
For one, there is not a day someone doesn't slip into my DMs and tells me any one of those DPS players isn't like mega cracked.
I get it.
And it's like the full roster. Like,
yeah.
And
Guangboon's insane.
Guangboon, Feather, like Flora. Like,
I'm not as high on Flora, but everybody else, sure. Fine. No.
Yeah, legitimately, I got a DM today where someone said like everyone's like super high on Flora or whatever. So, I think that DPS line is just like super versatile and cracked. I think Yakpang is sort of like a delayed take situation. I think Bianca is heavily underrated. Jonak, once again, not sure if I would. I mean, I could see him being a top 3 flex support this season. Then again, there's a ton of like, keep in mind, there's Violet, there's Alarm, and these types of players. But you're not getting significantly beaten if Jonak is your flex support.
You're not mad at that at all.
I do agree there are some question marks if you're like around Friday. And those need to be answered. And this is sort of like the risk that I'm taking with putting them high. The thing is, there's a quality to their scrim results that makes me think this isn't just scrims.
Okay.
Right?
There's
a longevity to it.
Right.
Yes. So I mean, it could totally like there's also like a high boom percentage for me to be just completely wrong here, because these are like mostly rookies, right?
I think
rookies,
yep,
or players that generally speaking also don't deal well with pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think their coaching staff is actually like highly underrated. I think Why Not will crystallize them. I don't know what it is, dude. This is super superficial. But I think I had NYXL. Keep in mind, this was pre-Valiant and whatnot around Christmas. It might have been that I had NYXL as last. I'm not entirely sure.
Low. You had them very low.
As soon as I heard about Why Not, I was like, oh boy, I'm wrong. Like, that's I don't know. Like there's something special about the quality of this team, which makes me feel very Valiant-esque about them.
Okay. So somebody like that can punch above their weight, not necessarily the most exciting pieces on paper, some stars here and there, but together they're more than the sum of their parts. That kind of feeling.
Sure. Yep.
Okay. I'm interested to see that team.
Once again,
I can't know that.
Delta is like in this region. Delta is they could absolutely be 6th,
100%.
Right. That could.
But 6th in the region. Now here's an interesting take. If you have them this high in terms of Asia, where do you think they'll finish globally?
I mean, top 5 for sure, right?
I think that says a lot more in terms of like how many teams you actually consider them to be. I can tell you that I'm not as bullish as Yiska, but I'm willing to be wrong. I think this is
your second team in Asia in top 5 global.
Is my second team in Asia top 5 global? It is. Yeah, it is.
Okay. All right.
Without spoiling who it is. Yeah, I think NYXL will be good. I'm willing to be. I don't think it's who you think it is. I'm willing to be proven wrong. I think this is the one that I'm the most boomed on, or can be the most boomed on. If this team does come together, if the rookies actually gel, if Yakpung has like a revival. Not to say that he was bad. I do think that he was given an unfair shake on Defiant. I think he will be good. I don't know if he'll be good enough to compete against other top main tanks, especially in his region. Obviously, Jonek's very good. Questions around Friday. Ivy, I know is good. I can say that for a fact. Ivy is good. Ivy can be inconsistent, though. I think we can all agree that
almost doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I don't think it does.
It's just too deep. It's too deep, dude. It's too deep. This DPS lineup is possibly the best in the league.
I'm willing to be proven wrong when it comes to Feather and Flora, but I don't have that like on stage regular season experience with them to say you can compete with the best in the world. They might be able to do it in scrims. We've heard that before.
For sure.
I need to see that translated.
I think you're overvaluing the lack of hasn't played in Overwatch League yet metric on this one, which to be fair is important, right? We have a lot. This is a brand new NYXL team. The only original NYXLer we have left is Jonak. The only one left from last season is Bianca, right? Bianca and Jonak.
Yeah. Bianca and Jonak. Yeah.
So this is a brand new NYXL team. We don't know how the team is going to transition to something transition that into results after such a drastic offseason.
For sure.
And again, I just can't get over the best. I can't get over that the best support that they could find is Friday in the flex support. Like I can't. I don't know how they did it. So, anyways,
Triple versus Philly and LAV.
Yeah, I don't know. This is, I think,
it's a tough one to judge. NYXL is a tough one. They could be very high. They could be middling. I don't think they'll be bad.
I admittedly just averaged, I think, their peaks and valleys. I basically just took yours and Joe's take, or yours and Yiska's take, and I just found the middle. I was like, yeah.
I think both of ours represent like the highest and the lowest. Like I can see them being like bottom-ish of Asia, but actually like upper middle pack, maybe, if they were to be able to compete. I'm interested to see, like, hearing, the first stirrings of the Scrimbuck Stock Exchange. It has me excited to see the NYXL. I think the big thing is seeing this team come together. There's a lot of question marks for me, and that could just be unfamiliarity. That could be people like Yakpung, having a bad season. How much is that, his fault? How much is that the system's fault? Obviously, the supports are a little lopsided, but regardless, a decent enough team, I think.
I'm mixing up names, but I'm decently sure that Friday had more offers than just the NYXL this one.
Interesting. Not somebody who I'm super familiar, and I've never really been all that high on Bianca, especially when it comes to Asian teams.
Bianca is slapping.
Okay, correct me, and this could be a really dumb take. Was Bianca not eligible to play for them last year?
No, he was, and he did. He played a decent chunk, actually. Not a lot, but
yeah, that has me concerned. I don't know why he wasn't playing if he's as good as you're saying he is.
Wasn't as good there, I think. And yes, HotBa played mostly, yeah.
And that's my concern. I'm not big on HotBa, and the fact that HotBa is getting more scrim time or play time than Bianca has me weirded out. It's not to say that I think Bianca is like bad, but it raises question marks. I don't think, I look at Krong, I look at Void. I'm like, these are top flex, tanks in the league.
Dude, these NYXL fans, like,
they go hard, but I'm telling you, I don't see it.
IMT was trolling, so no problem.
Okay, great.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Because that's what you want.
Where's the copium?
Just the sandbags are already filling up. It's crazy. Like, it doesn't stop with these kids. Oh. All right.
Let's go.
Ready?
Am I about to get mad? Am I about to be very mad, Joe?
Let me see. I'm checking the notes. You might be. All right, we'll see.
The next one that we're going to, we're gonna reveal it as the Chengdu Hunters.
No. Joe, I'm going to get you. If it is where it.
Oh no. Joe's got them at 5th.
Oh.
Yiska's got them at 4th. I've got them in 3rd. And
it changed to Chengdu Bob. No, it is actually Chengdu Bob.
I felt like I had to cook this take. I was like, I think Hunters will be good. I don't know if I can argue it though. Like, I'm going to put them.
Okay, I was so scared you would put them 2nd, dude.
No,
scared.
No, I can't. I'm not that much of a China stan. I can't. There's no way.
He is too hurt.
Well, it's not even just hurt. It's like, I want to be like as unbiased as I can, but like give you a couple little, I'll cook the books a little bit just to get a little bit of juice out of you. But like, I can't put them first. Like,
Joe, then
2nd.
Then let's hear from Chengdu John. Why he has the Chengdu Hunters in 3rd.
You guys are idiots. Because I'm an idiot.
Tell me.
So how do you say? Is it Gaga?
Gaga.
Yeah.
Amazing ball. Probably best ball. Really strong main tank. Added Rui's back. Added Creed. And then Yao something. I can't remember their name. Ever, never. Jimmy is pretty cracked, I think, at Widow Ash McCree. Nero's a big fan. So again, good hit scan.
Mm-hmm.
Has a Sombra. I'm all about that. Kaneki, I think, is a fine backup for Leave, but Leave is just Leave, so you've got that there. True. I don't, admittedly, the place that I don't know the most about is their support line, and except for Yevitol, but I don't think it's bad enough. This is a team that is finally going to, I think, hit those. If Chengdu has always been dangerous, this is a team that I think is just as dangerous and now finally has the talent to
praise John.
So
praise John.
I don't know.
I wish I could be as bullish as you.
I just don't see how they can make these additions. Adding
agreed.
Adding so many players, they've got a lot of depth throughout. Added arguably one of the strongest main tank free agents in the offseason.
Agreed.
I think that they're good. I just think that they're good. I don't know what to say it. I keep looking at like NYXL is a little too volatile. I could switch those two, Chengdu and NYXL. I could totally see myself doing that. But I'm just on paper. There's, and I know on NYXL, I just stuck myself too much on Friday. But I think on Chengdu, I'm just like, this should just be a team that wins.
This is where I feel like you can stick yourself in like a player's pocket and go, I'm not comfortable here. Please get me out. If I'm understanding Alvaro right, Yvetel will play. Nisha is formerly Illusion, who played on T1W, who I have historically not been a gigantic fan of. I think their flex supports are both insane. Their flex tanks are an issue. I think Gaga has been like an answered prayer for this team. Like a Chinese main tank finally in the team, can play the field and be a fantastic ball. Like he's Ameng plus, like 2.0 Ameng. Leaves good. Jimmy and Kaneki are both very promising. Jinmu can continuously be this mechanical, just crackhead. The team is good, but they're not like as pristine as I think other teams are.
One other thing, Eric brought this up. Tripled up teams, Fusion, Valiant.
Yes, sir.
That could be.
Sir.
That could be a good
two of those
couple
coming
wins
in the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Yes, especially like Philly not being in stage 4, the third triple up, like front loading that. Yes,
front loading Philly. Doesn't matter when you play Valiant.
Like considering I'm not going to do an Asia Scrimbox stock exchange. Let me open a little bit of the booklet, right?
Okay.
So for Chengdu, they are back to Chengdu shit.
Oh, that's what I like to hear. Let's go,
Which
Ray.
is
Let's go, Ray.
Throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yes.
Ray in full force.
Bro. Welcome to the church.
They legitimately have been described to me as they can win a tournament and they can also have a challenging match against the LA Valiant. Like they're basically slap in the middle, and that's where I put them.
Way, yeah.
So you think you're subscribing that they're still within the Chengdu zone, but like almost more so.
Oh no, they settled.
They're doubling down. Oh, they planted their feet. They're into it. I love it. I'm more excited.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not sure how that will develop over like 4-week-long metas and what that will do, but
y'all don't get it.
I think that's the exciting part. I remember like writing a piece that was Hunters. Your objective is not just to win, but it's also to find yourself again. With Ray back, this, like from what people tell me, this seems to be true.
And it's supported historically. Like when you look at Ray's career within China, it's always been on his own terms. When you look at Miraculous Youngster competing and beating Runaway, this is old Runaway. Granted, in this season, they weren't necessarily as great, but that's just in terms of Korean teams. The fact that a Chinese team went toe-to-toe with and then beat multiple Korean teams in their own style, that's not heard of. That's not heard of across the board in global Overwatch, to be fair. He's a special coach, and I think people are starting to come around to it. And the fact that you're telling me now, like they're back on their bullshit. Yeah, I think they could win a title. Well, not a league title, monthly title, to be fair.
Dude, give me a universal translator and just like 2 couches and like some cigars, some whiskey, and just like lock me in a room for 24 hours with Ray and I'll have the best time. Yeah. I can already tell like his insights or his view on Overwatch would be so interesting to get a read on.
I've got a very hot take for you, and I'm gonna fucking blaze it past your little earlobes, okay?
Oh shit.
I genuinely believe this is not like me like being creative to get like the Reddit clip or whatever. I believe this. I think you could have an argument that Ray is the best Overwatch coach. Like strategically, he plays the game Overwatch. I think Krusty gives you the results and knows how to like lead a team. But in terms of strategy, playing the game Overwatch, multiple hero swaps, having your own compositions, like fundamental strategy talk, I think Ray is just not matched, period. Historically speaking, over the number of years that he's been able to be successful, I think you can have a discussion that Ray is the best Overwatch coach.
I understand what you mean, but I would reframe it as the most creative strategist.
But I think that's Overwatch.
Ever known. Yeah,
like
I
Overwatch
understand
demands
that's what you mean. Yes, I understand that's what you mean. Yes.
So yes, if you want to like explain it that way, then sure, yeah, I totally agree. Mm-hmm. But I think that's Overwatch. I think Overwatch demands that, and we're slowly. Hopefully we'll get there again, but I think we'll get back to that point in 2019 in stage 3. I feel like I've talked this up a few times this week, but you know, when a meta game settles down, like it really demands that you play the game Overwatch and you start to think outside of the box and you start to go back to those like fundamental tools of being able to swap heroes on the fly. You know, obviously at the time we had, you know, non-roll lock, so you could bring out these multiple DPS compositions, but I think the game Overwatch demands you to be creative and play to your strengths. And I think Ray does that better than anybody else.
Sure. No, like the way you explain it, I know people will like understand a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to discredit whatever Krusty does. And
100%.
like
you
a lot of coaching is like, you know, the people stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But that's not what you mean. You mean like strictly like on service stuff, understanding Overwatch to a degree where how do hero pieces move on the chessboard rather than how do my players interact with it.
This would be a better way to explain it. I think Krusty and Ray opposite a spectrum. I think Krusty is the best system guy and the best refiner. I think Ray is the creative strategist. And if you can have somebody in the middle, then Overwatch is beaten. Then we've won the game.
Yeah, and
but until then,
Krusty. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like even on that scale, I think Krusty also pushes hard into the strategy.
Sure.
Like he's just like ridiculous in a lot of areas, right? Otherwise, you don't get that record as well.
Agreed, 100%.
But yeah, like this was one of the most exciting things to find out. Because like as long as that style of Overwatch lives, miraculous youngsters does.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully, you know, I think it's something with his back. Hopefully it doesn't plague him this season. He doesn't, you know, have to drop out early, or he can continue leading the Hunters to some success. Because again, and this is something that the Blackjack guys talked about, and I agree with, like, this is the Chinese team. If for whatever instance, you know, 2022 rolls around and Eileen's contract's up and he's like, man, I'm looking for a new team and the Chengdu Hunters are pretty good. Like, let me go shack up with them. Like, I think the Chengdu Hunters are slowly becoming like the shock, or they're kind of having an identity or a narrative built around them. Like, that's the home team for China. Like, if you're a Chinese player and you want to do well and you want to be led well, maybe Hunters are where you want to go. They might not pay you as much. They might not have the accommodations, but you'll do well. You'll be around people. You'll speak the same language. Like, there are like intangible benefits to joining teams like the Shock, like NYXL, like the Hunters, that you can't necessarily quantify.
Yep.
So what I'm hearing is that I'm right.
I hope you're right. There's a little piece of my heart that's cheering, go John, please bring home the bacon. So I'm glad you're, you know, bold enough to say what I'm thinking.
I'm a visionary. I've always been an Overwatch League.
Overwatch Steve Jobs.
Visionary.
There you go.
Okay. You want to do the next one?
What's the next one? Hit me.
Whew. We're going to Fusion Town.
I'm on 19.
Going to Fusion Town.
Here we go.
All right, so tactical
immigration
Crouch.
lawyer to your boys.
So Crouch, Platchat, and Joe have them all in second. Yiska and
you guys
have them in fifth.
Smoking that. Like, that's just outrageously wrong. I'm sorry, guys. This is very wrong.
And it's another team that I just choose to believe you're wrong on. My heart will not be able to take.
Won't even give my future self a message. You're right here. You're completely justified in saying this. No problem.
Even with like some of the move, like if they make another move to like grab like a main support, do you think that they can salvage?
No, my Joe. I already know it all happened. I already have a chippy chip in the multiverses.
I choose to not believe this. This is not headcanon. The Philadelphia Fusion with this roster is a title contending team. I don't care what they're doing now. I look at the coach. I look at the players. This is a good team.
How many?
I believe that in my heart.
How many tournaments did they win last season?
How many finals did they make last season?
How many did they win?
Not as many as they made.
They were really good last season.
Yes. So how are they this bad now? I don't know. I choose not to believe it.
So to be fair, I did add this before we had HotBa, who'd be playing on much more agreeable paying. I don't know if that shifts him a position. I'm not trying to hedge that at all.
Sure.
But
okay, let's think about this logically, right?
All right, let's think about it logically.
How many players are in visa issues?
Like
one
25.
coach, and 4 players.
On the team.
Yeah.
I have no
Does EQO have a visa?
Who are the players? Like Poco is taken care of because
Poco,
of
Funny Astro.
Okay.
There's your 4.
We signed 1.
Yeah, there's 1 gone, so there's 3 holes. I get it.
Okay.
So they're just never going to show up in Asia?
Immigration loyalty.
Boston doesn't think so. Well, Boston,
be.
yeah. I mean, like, look at what Boston did with Soon for visa issues. You're telling me it's not a possibility?
It certainly is. I can't judge that future, though. I don't know what that future looks like. I have what's in front of me. I look at the coaching staff. I look at the players. They'll get there at some point. Will it be too late? It might be. I don't know. But if they get there in a reasonable time, maybe May's a wash. I don't like. It's hard for me to judge.
This is also a team that lost a huge heart of what made them a title contending team last year, and that was Sato and Fury.
Sure.
I think Mono HotBa Poco is fine. I think it's good. I think it makes them strong. I could totally see them bumping up into 4th, even 3rd, depending on how kind of the new blood and Chengdu and NYXL end up doing. I'm more optimistic about that than I am, though, and that's assuming that they get visa issues taken care of relatively quickly. Like, they basically, I give them a stage grace period. If by stage 2, they aren't kind of all in the same place, had an opportunity to pass, to work together, I don't know how you can rank them this high.
Agreed. And that's kind of the plausible reality I'm judging them on. It's before HotBa. It's before any other moves. It's before anybody else, any other changes made to this team. I agree. A stage, maybe a little bit extra, but past that point, if it hasn't gotten itself rectified or the immigration lawyers, it's not going to line up. This team is in trouble, but if they get it sorted out, this team's insane.
The thing is, it will take so long for them to figure it out that they likely won't make 2nd anymore. That's the thing. That's why I have them in 5th. It's not that I don't think this team at peak performance isn't a title contender.
Sure.
It's just a dire situation. Like, they signed Rascal, I mean, presumably for a replacement. Same with HotBa.
Yeah.
There won't be any consistency in that roster for a hot minute.
Agreed.
So, and their scrum results are just not good.
I will say this, though. We will know between Fusion, NYXL, and Chengdu. They're tripled up teams. So
I can't wait to predict Chengdu over Philly. It's gonna feel so good.
It's tough.
It's all paying off.
This is a team, though. If you put them at full strength on day 1, they're 2nd. 100% agree. 100%. I'm just more bearish on the fact that I don't think that this is going to be as short term of a problem as people think. I think it's going to be something that we're seeing halfway through the season. We're not still seeing all players there. And we're going to be talking about in the middle of the 2nd stage, we're going to be talking about once they get this next player who's supposed to be coming up soon, we're going to be okay. And unless they decide to make some signings, which they did admittedly with HotBa, who knows what else is coming. So we, at this point now, Philadelphia Fusion are what, 8? 9? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're 9. So they've got a little bit of room
technically.
They've got a little bit of room. They've got no depth in support land right now.
Yeah. I don't even know if you need it, to be fair, but regardless.
I mean, when it comes to paying.
Yes, that
I agree. I think both of those. I'm not concerned about the depth of Alarm and Funny Astro as much as I am the depth of having somebody playing on a different continent. If they're able to play at all. So I don't know.
Yeah, this is going to be a team to keep an eye on. I hope that even in the worst case scenario, they can get it together by playoffs and we can finally see this roster, because it would be a travesty to see Mono again. Like, I don't know how much longer somebody like this can deal with Overwatch. I do have to wonder, like, when is enough for him? Same thing with Carpe. Like, talented players go by the wayside of just like a bad situation, right? Like being locked behind like immigration jail, right? Like it would be really sad to see somebody like Alarm, Rascal, like all these like very talented players not actually succeed in any way, shape, or form because of whatever reason. Like it would be a travesty. So I hope that it's like a Valiant, Chengdu in 2019 push where they sneak into playoffs and maybe they can make it there. Maybe they can, have the meta settle their way, pull off a Justice or a Seoul Dynasty-esque run like last season. They have the power to, but it's just getting to that point, I guess, is a little scary.
You know what upsets me a little bit about like how the rankings now have shaken out? I feel like we all got averaged.
What?
We all got averaged really heavily.
What do you mean?
And I guess that's a segue, what I assume to be the next team.
All right.
But
I have to remember what the next team is.
Like, can we keep in mind how that team finished last season? Like, can we think about how they would have not made a single stage final? Not one. Not playoffs. They were negative over the regular season. They changed like a couple of players around.
Yeah.
And how have we been averaged into a top 3 APAC position based on a Next Cup?
No,
what
it's
is going on?
Nothing
How
to do
did
with my
that
ranking.
happen?
It's not just next.
Do not
That's
put
not
that
How
on me,
did that
sir.
happen to me? What
say
did I become?
Nay, sir.
No,
you
if
do
anybody
not.
has the best argument, it is John.
How have I fallen to these levels?
The actual Tiger King.
You do not get to.
Oh yeah, Prophet is on that team.
you-
Never mind.
You still, yeah. So we might as well show these here. It's no surprise, right? So everybody at third, I put them up at second. At the end of the day, you still have Prophet and Fitz. To you, I think is correct. Creative looked awesome. I think Animo is a nice addition. I'm glad to see to you to see consistent game playtime, which is something that I think he desperately needed last year, and is also something that just to double check. To you came into Seoul in August of last year. So it's not like he was playing with them for the whole team. So I think that people are, a little bit undervaluing those results a little bit. And you're talking to the guy who correctly picked how deep these teams would go. Because this team, you're right, they didn't go to a finals, but holy shit.
No, they did.
Did they make sure? They did. And did they also made sure that teams who should have made the final didn't, even though they ended up not going there. So, hey, this is a team that last year could have won against everybody despite the tumultuous year that we have. This year is going to be far more consistent than last year. I think they made some upgrades. I think Prophet and Fitz it's Prophet and Fitz. Yiska, say something bad about Prophet and Fitz. I dare you. That's what I thought.
Fitz could do that stuff that he does in playoffs like a little bit more, please.
Yeah.
In order to justify my third place. Please do it more.
Anyways.
Otherwise, I feel really bad about this. Like, 2U is nutty. Creative also apparently to be fair, a player I completely underrated. Yeah, but like, it's like Creative was really opaque to me as a player. And now he's actually on the map.
Wouldn't that be the other way around?
Do I not understand what opaque
translucent
means?
Is seeing through something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Opaque is like solid and colorful.
Oh, sorry.
Wow. I get it mixed up all the time, and I spend like 10 hours a day in Photoshop.
Some such.
I agree that creative for me has always been very translucent and like not noticeable, but that's fine. You don't need somebody to be, hogging the star power when you have somebody like Prophet and Fitz.
by the way, I had a delivery driver today.
Yeah.
And like he comes up the stairs and I go, in German, like, do you have some change with you so I can give you a tip? And he goes like, sorry, I only speak English. Or he says actually, sorry, only English. So I reply to him in English. And he says, sorry, no English. And I'm just like, what is going on? I think he was Finnish or something. I'm not sure. Like, I was really confused by that. And yeah, just as a side tangent in terms of like the ability. I don't know. Like,
and they play for the Seoul Dynasty? I don't understand.
I agree, chat. Yes, Animo, not the strongest main support. But can you overcompensate?
Coming from a team who just made a bunch of or from a chat who just made a bunch of excuses for Friday.
Okay. I don't agree with that, but I agree with Animo. Okay. Now, regardless, speaking with Arnold and the coaching staff, there seems to be intangibles with Animo. I don't think that alone is overcompensating for his lack of presence on the server, but I think having an all-star or having multiple all-stars like Prophet, like Fitz, like 2U could be, dare I say, a Sabyolbi Tracer meta could come and he could perform well. Granted, I've been very critical of his preseason, but that's the preseason. Marvel, I think, doesn't get enough credit, and I still think Gesture has it in the tank. Like, this is a good team. Has some holes, has some issues, but it's tough to argue with one of the most imposing DPS players in the game.
They did slim. So one thing they did. So I like that they got rid of the Wizard Hyung himself this past offseason. So he's gone. Hokyuri's gone as well as a GM. They haven't replaced anybody though. So it's kind of weird because on one side I'm like, let's improve that coaching, because I think that with a proper coaching roster, I think that this team would do a lot better. And I think a lot of the coaching decisions and roster decisions last year led to some of the less than stellar results. Seeing those people gone, great. However, we don't. I think, like, I don't know if we have a GM. Is Arnold GM now? I don't know.
I assume so.
Like,
he's CEO of Genji.
Yeah, CG and CGO of which is Chief Growth Officer, whatever that means.
Have you ever noticed there's a lot of chiefs in companies? Why so many chiefs? Why not looking at like? I guess they can't be. What else would you call? Why is everything a chief?
They usually do. They do.
COO, CIO. Now. SVP? What is
SVP
that?
Is Senior Vice President of blank.
Okay. SVPG? Senior Vice President of Growth?
Now we're getting into the thing where I'm not sure you're saying words or if it's like, you know, like sexually transmitted disease, or
I'm talking all the Chengdu sleeper agents in chat. You know, I'm programming them with the next, you know, next instructions.
But shut up.
You'll all my God. In days, don't worry.
Anyways, if there's one change that I think that Seoul still needs to be a really confident second place pick, it's actually just improvements in coaching, expanding that roster a little bit. Right now, they
can find consistency, like holy.
They've got MMA and Bongwari from last year, no change. Chengdu,
that will never not be weird, will it be?
No.
Joe, having MMA on an Overwatch League team, every time it surprises me. Always again.
For those who are unaware, MMA is like probably like a legendary. I won't say one of the greatest, especially not since I haven't followed the scene in a long time, but like a forefather of early like StarCraft 2, and I believe had like a small career in Brood War. Very applauded and tenured in the game. Very strategic. Has gone through his military service, I believe. And yeah, that's kind of where the weird part comes from. I believe there's also a documentary featuring him regarding BlizzCon. I'd have to look, but it's on my
to watch list. He used to have a super dominant era. Didn't you win a GSL as well?
Yeah, I think that was the BlizzCon.
Oh yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, MMA is very
quite early into the game.
There's a famous clip of him beating a Western player by shooting his own command center. Check that out. It's very funny.
Oh yeah, true.
But yes, Seoul's good. Seoul's a good team. MMA,
Seoul's good.
We'll get to you. Don't worry.
Well, we are all boring. Congratulations.
So,
we're all very boring.
I can't.
We're all very right.
This is
but
just
we're all very
it's
boring.
literally like a sandwich, right? So the ends are boring. It's just bread.
Yeah, it's just bread.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what type of bread. It's what's in between that's the interesting part. We've totally jumbled up the insides, but at the end of the day, it's all still within 2 pieces of bread, and that's
That actually tilts me every time I see someone like call it a sandwich when they exchange the buns for like lettuce. I'm like, that is not a sandwich. What are you talking about? That's a salad.
That's a lazy salad. He didn't even cut it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now hear me out, but without saying anything too spoilery. Is anybody interesting regarding the Western teams? Or are we sandwiches?
I'm interesting.
I'm
double lettuce boy.
He's a lazy salad.
I think I might have a slice of cheese on one side and then maybe ketchup on the bottom. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, Toronto Defiant's the bottom. So I don't know. So the bottom is just like dog shit on the bottom right here.
All right.
On the top. And then you've got cheese on the top.
Mine is actually the Infinity Burger. Like, yes, it has the bun at the bottom. If you think about it, right? Like, of course, there's like one bun at the bottom. I don't think anyone will be surprised by me putting Titans last. But then the Infinity bun goes up. There's literally no ceiling. It just doesn't have a top bun. You just look up and it just keeps on going.
ADM80 brings up a good point. If Shanghai and LA are the same, are both bread, then they're the same. So LA Valiant are, you get to the very top or end of the bread, and you get the crusty piece.
No.
That's the type of bread that the Valiant are.
How are we comparing the bottom bitch bun to the top bun? That is not how it works. The top bun is clearly the more delicious.
Yeah,
they're not the same at all.
Yeah, but they're
No. They have sprinkle, like they have sesame and stuff on it. It's not the same. Don't say it's the same.
Unless you go to McDonald's. McDonald's doesn't have sesame.
Oh, they do have like a brioche bun, which is quite good.
No, that's not the same.
No.
Anyways, all I'm saying is Valiant's bun sucks. And so whatever type of bun that is, what's your least favorite type of bun? That's the LA Valiant.
Cheap dollar store.
Also, by the way, we're looking for 2021 Overwatch League guests for the show throughout the season. LA Valiant.
I'll let your boy. Extra. Where you at?
If you want to come on the show, talk about your team, I'm sure we'll be totally fair and nice. Anyways.
So Shanghai.
It's
good team, huh?
Untoasted. Yeah. I mean, what is it?
You beat it. Yeah. What's not to love?
Are they as good as last year, Joe?
Are they as good as last year?
No more Fearless.
I would say yes. I would say yes. I think they're more guided. I don't think there are as many questions regarding the roster. I've actually come around. I've historically been pretty critical of Moon in the past regarding like how frequently he makes his changes regarding like substitutions. But now that I've kind of sat with it, I kind of am more positive about it. And I think that's what we'll see with this roster, but to more actual success. I am very high on Molly, obviously very high on Molly. I enjoy
it every episode.
Didn't even learn.
Never.
It's just the same joke every time.
I don't even mean to do it. I just walk into it.
That's the beauty of it, is you had no idea what you were about to say. You just,
for as much as I've written the English language, I consistently just walk into like word pitfalls constantly, and it's just like
we know
a part of my character at this point. I feel like I just have to. Urster is historically just so good. I don't like it was kind of a shame that we didn't get to see him at Atlanta. He's reuniting with a core that he's played with before. Yeah, Shanghai's insane. I think they're much better this year. Well, much better is a bit aggressive, but I do think they're better.
Erster,
is Ding missing a problem?
I don't think so. No, I do like Ding, but he is a specific player. I think Erster is much better at the game Overwatch in terms of like how wide you need to be across hero pools and in everything that's asked of you as a DPS player.
I feel like we don't even know
Erster's a better player.
I feel like we don't even know who Erster is as a DPS player anymore.
Yeah, no, for sure.
No, not at all.
Like, doesn't that freaking suck? Like, Erster was so great to watch, and then comes to Overwatch League, goes to Atlanta, hardly ever plays, no explanation as to why.
Yeah.
And then,
by the way, the Ding dream sort of died when just Jinmu completely like put him on a chain and escorted him around the map in these Pharah duels. Like that at that point, it's just like, dude, I don't think so.
I don't even know if he was the best Pharah on his team.
Ding's rating took a ding.
I think Fleta's Pharah is like insane. And then you can just play whatever else you want because you're Fleta. Like, it's hard to put Ding in this roster and get him to work. Yes, he played sometimes last season, but I'd like to see Ding go to another team, and it's sad that we haven't gotten that ever, but it's tough. He's a good player. He deserves a team. Same thing with Libero. Hello. Fusion, where you at? Pick a boy up.
I was looking at some of the best available in the spreadsheet.
There's some tragedies not signed.
Dia. Nene.
Yeah.
Libero.
Yeah.
Ding.
Yeah. Sort of.
I mean,
I think that might be the cutoff. Anybody else
Meko?
Below it though?
Haffy, I think could still make.
I'd be willing to try.
Could be there. Aim God, Boombox.
Maybe not Aim God.
Pedoshin. I'm just
Boombox,
going through
no.
the list. Sanguinar.
Pedoshin.
Toby,
It's sad that Pedoshin doesn't feel as good as he used to.
It's weird because every time I go
rich.
to every time I go to like a European player, Joe's just like, no.
They're just old. They've had their time in the league. It hasn't been all that impressive. The results aren't there. They're only limited to so many teams, and it's like, I'm cool to give a rookie a shot. I like Cruz. I think Cruz is great. I've seen him in contenders recently. I think he's performing well. I'm willing to give somebody like, I mean, granted, it's Neptuno. And I'm actually pretty high on Neptuno. It seems like when I hear the community talk about him.
That's not a drug.
It's true. Yeah. I don't know. Like,
not quite as good as Molly though.
No, not as good as Molly.
It hits different.
Molly do hit different. More ways than one.
My mom's listening to this podcast. She listens to the podcast. She goes, I don't understand a word you're saying. I just like to hear your voice.
I promise you I've never had a drug in my life.
Because I just
I'm
like
sorry
hearing
for
your
cursing.
Yeah.
I'm a tripod.
Kickedtripod.
So, yeah.
Is Miss Kickedtripod John's mom, or is that Katie?
I don't. Or, I really could never keep up with like words like that.
Okay.
Language.
Gotcha.
It's just Ms. is just a formal title for a female.
Really? Okay. That doesn't impart any age or something.
Ms. is generally single. Somebody who's not in a relationship, widowed or otherwise. Mrs. is somebody who is usually more mature, married or otherwise.
Right.
We're gonna clear this up on this Power Rankings episode right now. So my mom
there you have it.
Is not really a Ms. Kickedtripod.
True.
Okay.
It would be like a Mrs. Horstman type thing. Katie would be Mrs. Kickedtripod, but I took her last name, so I'm Mr. IMKJ. So
all right.
I didn't, but I mean, I probably should. She wears the pants around here. She really does. Lots of pants.
Lots of pants.
And dresses are breathable and comfy. So
there you go.
Anyways.
So is Hafi cool Miss or Mrs.?
Oh, I forgot that we're even talking about any Overwatch. This went somewhere, right? There was something.
Yeah,
here.
somewhere. I think we pulled off into a ditch and we're just backing out now.
We're widowing this conversation right now. Not in the Overwatch League way.
Could say we're willowing it.
Sure.
Don't worry, I got
you.
Chat, I got you.
Yeah, there it is. That's deserved. Any preheat for next week? Any spice? Obviously, it sounds like both of you have some,
guys, you don't understand. Like,
have some interesting burgers.
So, okay, there's the thing. My NA power rankings, when compared to, for instance, Platchat or like the individual ones that have been posted, one of us will lose to coin flip. I am so different than anyone else as I envision it right now. And yes, I'm still juicing up. And by the way, the Scrum Up Stock Exchange, probably not this week, probably early next week.
Now, are you like changing your stuff? I genuinely don't believe that, like, there has to be a catch. Like, I'm shocked that you're pulling like seasonal power rankings off of like scrims now.
I mean, I'm having them influence my opinion more heavily than before because I've noticed that I could have foreseen certain things like the LA Valiant had I been more proactive on.
Now, are you like refreshing your power rankings at all through the season, or is this just it?
No. Next season, you're going to get the full Monty in terms of like the entire like plate of power rankings, and then that's final. But
for this season,
for the next episode, because like I didn't write one for GG Recon, so I still am in the fortunate position to be able to inform my opinion with what.
But you're not going to revisit your power rankings.
When? Over the season?
This season. Okay.
No.
I'm just looking for a catch. I'm looking for where are you getting me here?
No. Unless like this might be the first like legitimate power rankings, unless something radically changes in the makeup of the league, like something like, let's say we start traveling again or something like that.
Sure.
Then like if there's any significant changes, like last year we did our power rankings suddenly hero pools. It's just like might as well like throw the dice now. Like yeah. It just doesn't matter that much.
Okay, I'm willing to see what this looks like come end of season.
I cannot. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, you're either a moron or a prophet,
dude. I was watching the Platchet episode. Within 10 minutes, I was mad and screaming, "You guys are losing to coin flip! You're losing to coin flip!" They pulled it around. There was some like comments about some teams where these guys need to be in the conversation down here. I'm like, no, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. I'm like 10 on some of these ratings. I'm 10 slots divided.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
I have to assume those are teams going down rather than teams going up.
We will see, Joe. We're not spoiling.
Okay, I think I have a couple in mind, but regardless,
I want to put a poll out.
We will see. Poll?
I want to put a poll out.
For what?
To see who chat thinks has the best power rankings.
Oh. All right, chat, vote.
Right, right.
Vote publicly. Speak your piece.
I don't know how to do it, though. There's like an actual thing.
Yeah, well, you're an American. You're the excuse. Nobody knows how to hold elections in your country.
Life is so hard.
Just
do what Eric's doing. If you like,
if you want to send first one, mail-in ballots to John's house, his address is.
Vote by the number you see and ordered by. And if you're in audio land, we appreciate you regardless. You don't have to vote. Don't worry about it.
There's a poll thing here. I know it's here.
It is there.
The boomer. Why don't you call your elders in order to get this technical problem fixed for you?
Why don't you buy your own camera?
Wait, I'm gonna get my mom on the phone.
All right, we can't do it. Anyways,
Just saying, chat, who you
Looks
like
a lot of people saying Yiska.
A lot of NYXL fans. I see you. I see you.
Yeah.
A lot of Yiska in chat right now. Got one.
He's cooked a little bit of the books.
Got one kick,
excited about
two
NYXL.
kicks.
Oh,
zero
no.
Volamels. There's one Volamel. There's another kick. There's another kick. All right. Yeah. Just imagine that you're all signing. You're signing with the dumbest person on the podcast.
I need Eric to commit. Who do you side with?
Okay,
Eric said one.
Eric, whose rankings do you think are most correct?
he would side with the aggregate. I think that's Eric's way. Oh, really? He's a New Yorker after all. He's a New Yorker after all.
Yeah.
He's going for the home team.
Yeah. All right. Chat, big thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed Power Rankings Part 1. Of course, please, if you did, drop a free Twitch Prime sub right here, right now. You can do that, or leave, or you can just sub normally. That's totally fine too. You can do that. Big thank you to our patron producers: Refined Bean, Fredino, Battlecrab Lotion, Rex Zane, Sir Girthalot, Pork Chop Sammy, Kosh67, Shar, Nathan, Your Misery, Fabled Steven, Roger B, Chris R34444, Bronzebot Boohow, and Hotel Bravo 11. Yes, we are absolutely doing West next week. That's going to be there. If you want to put in your own power rankings and be included in the aggregate ranking that you saw on the show today, you can do that by going to the discord.me/tacticalcrouch, and in the announcements channel there is something there, as well as the link is in the stream if you want to copy it manually.
We're going to fight next week, guys. I can feel
it's going to be weird.
We're going to fight.
See, we always say that, but we don't ever really fight. Like, we all kind of voice our... Yeah, okay.
I'm bringing these guns.
I think we fight a little bit sometimes.
Sometimes.
I think we fight a little bit.
There will be plenty to fight over.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Big thank you to our new subs, or resubs, sorry. Fire Element, Chris R34444, Twin Pete's, and Brad RK. I really appreciate you supporting the show. No new tips, no new patrons this week, but if you want to support, those are both great ways to do that. Let's do some shout outs for the week. Hey, do you guys want to play games after this?
I need a nap.
What do you want to play?
Yeah, what do you want to play? I guess that'd be a better question.
I'm open. Overwatch or Valorant?
I can play a little bit, but I'm pretty tired.
Let's go. If you want to be part of those things, we can play some Overwatch. I think that just allows for one more person to participate.
Sure.
We'll play some Overwatch I'll keep the stream live.
All right.
Yiska.me/tactical_crouch, right? What's that?
Is that right?
Is it underscore? I don't think there's an underscore.
What is it? Is it just one word?
I don't know. You made it.
I don't remember. I do what you told me.
It's just tactical crouch, no underscore.
You have the pants here.
I told you I wear dresses. Katie has the pants. I don't wear
pants.
Katie has the pants. It's tactical
Katie
crouch.
Have your pants?
The Twitter is twitter.com/tactical_crouch. That's what it is.
There you go.
I like in chat. APAC is super hard, and right next to it, APAC is easier than NA. Next to each other.
No.
Right next to each other.
I'm not sure. NA is just more, which makes it hard.
There's more. There's also...
I don't think it's that hard.
We have like the two biggest Korean apologists in Overwatch esports, in Yiska and Volamel. So
true. All aboard the train. Woo woo.
Okay. All right, chat, we're gonna hang tight, get everything set up, and then we are going to open up some Overwatch, so we'll be right back for that. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed our podcast. Oh wait, let's do shout outs. So Joe, you released your power rankings this morning.
I did. They're out in full. If you want a spoiler of what I'm going to talk about next week, just a little bit less in depth, go check that out.
Yiska?
Yeah, like look out for the Squirmbox Stock Exchange probably early next week. It's only going to be NA focused. I'll get that out before we have our episode. So if you guys want to adjust your power rankings based on the stock exchange, not taking that competitive advantage from you guys.
I've been led astray by you. This might be the biggest 5-head play to try and mess up our rankings. Just because I know
gotta stand strong.
I know how badly Yiska wants to be the best at power rankings. So
he's a competitor at heart.
It fuels him. All right, chat. We're gonna be right back. Thanks so much for tuning in. See you next week or right after the music.